Arctic air is about to lock into place across the central and eastern United States. This isn't a quick, cold snap that moves through in a day or two. This is a blocking pattern that persists for 7 to 10 days, bringing sustained freezing temperatures, multiple rounds of snow, and wind chills that reach dangerous levels. Right now, the temperature contrast across the country is remarkable. Eastern Colorado saw 17 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Wind chills dropped to 5 degrees. That is the Arctic air mass sitting over the central Rockies and high plains. Meanwhile, across the Gulf Coast from Texas through Louisiana and Mississippi, conditions have been warm and humid. Temperatures running 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Mississippi dealt with severe weather and tornado warnings earlier today. South Carolina has been seeing rain, near record warmth this week. That all changes starting Wednesday. Missouri has been quiet, temperatures hovering around 40 degrees, calm conditions. Almost boring for those tracking winter weather. That mild pattern is about to end abruptly. South central Wisconsin was experiencing rain this morning. Some areas are already reporting the transition to snow as I am recording this. That's how quickly this system is moving through. The pattern we re-entering is significant. Let me show you what the data is telling us and why meteorologists are watching this closely. The key driver is a blocking pattern. High pressure is building along the west coast. Strong high pressure is also developing over the North Atlantic. When you get blocking on both sides of the continent like this, it creates a trough in between. That trough funnels Arctic air directly south from Canada into the United States, and it keeps it there. The Arctic oscillation is going negative. The North Atlantic oscillation is also going negative. When both of these indices go negative simultaneously, you get sustained cold across the eastern two-thirds of North America. This isn't a couple of days. Both the European model and the GFS model show this pattern persisting through at least January 20th, possibly into the 22nd or 23rd. The jet stream pattern tells the story clearly. You can see the clockwise flow around high pressure on the west coast. High pressure rotates clockwise. Low pressure rotates counterclockwise. That is basic atmospheric physics. This high pressure ridge along the west coast forces the jet stream to buckle deeply southward across the central and eastern states. At the same time, blocking high pressure in the North Atlantic prevents weather systems from moving out to sea quickly. They get backed up, cold air accumulates. And when you have blocks on both sides like this, the cold air has nowhere to go except to sit in place and reinforce itself. The Euro model data shows this pattern clearly. The GFS model confirms it. When both major global models agree on a pattern at this range, you can have high confidence in the general setup. The specifics will vary. Exact snowfall locations will shift as we get closer, but the overall pattern of sustained cold is locked in. Let's talk about what this means for different regions, starting with the snow. Multiple clipper systems are going to move through the northern tier states over the next 7 to 8 days. A clipper is a fast-moving low-pressure system that drops out of Canada, brings snow, and moves on quickly. Each individual clipper might only bring 2 to 4 inches of snow, but when you get 3 or 4 of them in a week, it adds up. The first system moves through Wednesday and Thursday. Primary impact zone is Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Snowfall totals of 4 to 8 inches across much of this region. Some locally heavier amounts where bands set up. Bands are narrow corridors of enhanced snowfall within a larger storm system. They were caused by atmospheric instability and lift patterns. The challenge with bands is they read difficult to predict precisely more than 24 hours in advance. If you end up under a band, you could see 10 or 12 inches instead of 6. If you read just outside the band, you might get 4 inches. That SY ranges matter. Friday brings another clipper, another 2 to 4 inches for parts of the Great Lakes and interior Northeast. Then another system over the weekend, 2 to 4 more inches. By the time we get through 8 days, cumulative snowfall totals become significant. Northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, upper Michigan, these areas could see 12 to 18 inches of accumulated snow from multiple systems. Western Michigan along Lake Michigan, another area for significant accumulation due to lake effect enhancement on top of the clipper snow. Interior Northeast, higher elevations of the Appalachians. 6 to 12 inches possible over the 8-day period. Each system individually isn't massive. Together, they create substantial impact. The I-95 corridor from Washington through Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston remains uncertain. There's potential for a coastal system to develop late in the week or over the weekend. But that's where model disagreement exists. If a low develops and tracks favorably, major cities could see significant snow. If it tracks too far east or doesn't develop, you get cold temperatures but limited precipitation. Maryland, I know many of you have been waiting for snow. 2 years without a major snowstorm in some areas. This pattern has potential, but I'm not going to promise coastal snow when the models are still working out whether that system even develops. What I will tell you is to stay informed Wednesday and Thursday. If the coastal low materializes, you will have 24 to 36 hours notice. The snow is one part of the story. The cold is the bigger concern. Starting Thursday, temperatures drop significantly across the central states. High temperatures in the teens and 20s Fahrenheit across the Midwest. Overnight lows in the single digits to near zero. Wind chills. Thursday morning feels like temperatures down to 0 to minus 10 degrees across much of the Ohio Valley and Mississippi Valley. Friday, the cold pushes east. The entire eastern seaboard feels it. High temperatures struggle to reach 30 degrees from Georgia northward. Overnight lows drop into the teens and 20s. Even northern Florida sees temperatures in the 30s Fahrenheit. But here's what makes this pattern concerning. That cold doesn't move out. Saturday, another pulse of Arctic air reinforces it. Sunday, another pulse. Monday and Tuesday, the coldest air of the entire pattern moves through. By Monday morning, wind chills across the upper Midwest drop to minus 20 to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Some locations could see minus 40-degree wind chills. That's dangerous cold. Exposed skin can develop frostbite in 10 to 15 minutes. Being outside becomes a health risk. High temperatures Monday and Tuesday across Minnesota, the Dakotas, northern Wisconsin. Highs struggle to reach 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not the wind chill, that's the actual air temperature. Overnight lows could drop to minus 15 to minus 25 degrees Fahrenheit. The Great Lakes region sees high temperatures in the single digits Monday and Tuesday. Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, Cleveland, all looking at temperatures that haven't been this low in several years. Wind chills Monday evening into Tuesday morning could reach minus 10 to minus 20 degrees across this entire region. Even further south, areas that don't normally see extreme cold get impacted. Tennessee, northern Arkansas, Kentucky, southern Missouri. High temperatures in the low 20s Fahrenheit Monday and Tuesday. Overnight lows in the single digits. That's cold enough to stress infrastructure that isn't designed for those conditions. Water pipes in older homes, especially those running through exterior walls or crawl spaces, those are vulnerable. Pipes in mobile homes, also vulnerable. If you live in areas where severe cold is uncommon, this is the time to take precautions. The Gulf Coast sees a hard freeze by late week. Overnight lows in the 20s across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, northern parts of the Gulf Coast states. That's freeze and hard freeze territory. Sensitive plants need protection. Exposed outdoor plumbing needs protection. Florida, particularly North and Central Florida, sees temperatures drop into the 30s and upper 20s by Friday night and Saturday morning. That's uncomfortable cold if you're not prepared for it. Most Floridians don't own heavy winter coats, and that's completely reasonable, but you'll need more than a light jacket this weekend. Multiple thin layers work better than trying to find a heavy coat you don't own. A sweatshirt under a windbreaker. Add a scarf and gloves for the short periods you are outside. That combination traps heat effectively. This cold pattern persists, it doesn't break quickly. The extended models show high pressure remaining locked over central Canada through at least January 20th. Some data suggests it could extend into the 22nd or 23rd. That's a week to 10 days of sustained below normal temperatures. Let me put this in perspective. Many of you remember the blizzard of '78. Parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley saw 3 feet of snow. Temperatures dropped to 20 below 0 Fahrenheit. Wind chills were life-threatening. That was an extreme generational event. This situation is not on that scale. We re-looking at significant cold? Yes. We re-looking at accumulating snow from multiple systems? Yes. But we re-not looking at a single catastrophic blizzard. We re-looking at sustained winter weather that's serious but manageable if you prepare properly. The polar vortex event of 2019 brought the coldest temperatures to the Midwest in a generation. Chicago hit minus 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind chills dropped to -50. Schools closed for days. Businesses closed. It was genuinely dangerous to be outside. This event will be very cold. For parts of the northern tier, it will be the coldest weather of the season so far. Wind chills Monday and Tuesday could approach the levels seen in that 2019 event for the upper Midwest. But based on current model data, the geographic extent isn't as widespread, and the southern reach isn't as deep. Why make these comparisons? Because you deserve context. You've lived through cold before. You know what 20 degrees feels like. You know what 0 degrees feels like. Some of you have experienced -20. This information helps you calibrate your preparation appropriately. Now let's talk about what you should do over the next several days. If you live in the snow zone, check your supplies now. Do you have enough non-perishable food for 3 to 4 days? Do you have batteries, flashlights, a first aid kit? Do you have necessary medications? If you lose power or roads become impassable, you want those supplies already in your home. For those in extreme cold areas, your furnace needs to be working properly. If you heat with natural gas or oil, make sure you have adequate supply. If you heat with a wood stove or fireplace, make sure you have enough fuel. Check your carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure they have fresh batteries and are functioning. Elderly neighbors, family members, anyone who might be vulnerable, check on them. Make sure they have adequate heat. Make sure they have warm clothing. Extreme cold is dangerous for everyone, but especially for the elderly, the very young, and anyone with compromised health conditions. Pets feel the cold too. Dogs still need to go outside, but limit time in extreme cold. Watch for signs of distress. Lifting paws repeatedly. Whining, shivering. Those are signs your dog is too cold. Cats should be kept indoors. If you have outdoor animals, make sure they have adequate shelter with protection from wind and insulated bedding. Make sure water sources don't freeze. Your vehicle needs preparation. Cold weather is extremely hard on car batteries. If your battery is more than 3 or 4 years old, consider having it tested. A battery that works fine in 50-degree weather can fail in 0-degree weather. Getting stranded in a parking lot is inconvenient. Getting stranded on a highway in a snowstorm is dangerous. Keep an emergency kit in your vehicle. Blanket, flashlight, jumper cables, some non-perishable snacks, bottled water. If you get stuck or stranded, you want supplies with you. Keep your gas tank at least half full throughout this cold spell. Fuel lines can freeze if you run your tank too low in extreme cold. If you must travel during the snow, tell someone your planned route and expected arrival time. If you don't arrive when expected, they know to check on you. This seems like common sense, but many people skip this step. Dress in layers. Multiple thin layers trap heat more effectively than one thick layer. Your outer layer should be windproof and waterproof if possible. Cover your head. You lose significant body heat through your head. A warm hat makes a substantial difference. Gloves or mittens. Mittens provide more warmth. Gloves provide more dexterity. Choose based on what you'll be doing outside. For your home, let faucets drip slightly during extreme cold if you have pipes in exterior walls or unheated spaces. Moving water doesn't freeze as readily as standing water. The cost of a small amount of wasted water is far less than the cost of repairing burst pipes. Open cabinet doors under sinks on exterior walls. This allows warm air from your heated space to circulate around the pipes. It's a simple step that can prevent freezing. If you heat with a fireplace or wood stove, make sure your chimney is clear. Have your carbon monoxide detectors working. Never use a gas oven or stove to heat your home. The risk of carbon monoxide poisoning is too high. Never run a generator indoors or in an attached garage. Generators produce carbon monoxide that can be lethal in enclosed spaces. For those dealing with the snow, if you use a snowblower, make sure it's fueled and ready before the snow starts. Check the oil. Make sure the auger and chute move freely. If you shovel, understand that technique matters. Lift with your legs, not your back. Push snow rather than lifting when possible. Take breaks. Many heart attacks occur during and immediately after snow shoveling because people overexert themselves in cold conditions. This snow will be relatively light and fluffy because it's falling in very cold conditions. That's easier to move than heavy, wet snow. But light snow drifts more easily in wind, which brings up the wind issue. Wind is going to be a significant factor with many of these systems. Sustained winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusts to 40 miles per hour. That creates blowing and drifting snow. Visibility drops. Roads that were passable an hour ago become impassable. 6 inches of snow with calm winds is one thing. 4 inches of snow with 30-mile-per-hour winds creates whiteout conditions. If you must drive in snow, slow down, accelerate gently, brake gently, leave extra space between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead of you. Black ice forms when temperatures drop after snow or rain. It's nearly invisible on pavement. Bridges and overpasses freeze first. Exercise extra caution on those surfaces. Looking at specific concerns that have come up. The Chicago Bears playoff game Sunday. Game time temperature is forecast to be in the single digits Fahrenheit. Wind chill could be near 0 or below 0. If you are attending, dress accordingly. This isn't a moderate cold where you can get by with a heavy coat. This is serious cold. Layer your clothing. Thermal underwear as a base layer. Regular clothes over that. Heavy coat on top. Insulated boots, not regular shoes. Your feet will be on cold concrete for 3 hours. Warm socks alone won't be enough. Hand warmers. Put them in your gloves or pockets. Face covering if wind picks up. Scarf or balaclava to protect your face from wind chill. For those in areas experiencing temperature whiplash, I understand the frustration. Across parts of the Gulf Coast, temperatures have swung wildly. One day 70 degrees, next day 40, then back up. People have been dealing with sinus issues, migraines, persistent colds. That pattern of rapid temperature change is hard on the body. The good news, if you can call it that, is this cold pattern brings stability. It is consistently cold rather than bouncing back and forth. Looking beyond this immediate cold spell, the pattern remains favorable for continued below normal temperatures through the end of January. There is potential for another system around the 20th to 22nd that could bring additional snow to the Great Lakes and Northeast. That's too far out for specifics. But the blocking pattern supports it. Some models show potential for a more significant storm around that time frame that could bring snow further south into the Tennessee Valley and southern states. But we talking about forecasts 10 to 14 days out. Models struggle with accuracy at 5 days. At 14 days, they can show you patterns but not specifics. I'll keep you updated as we get closer and confidence increases. The extended pattern suggests this cold doesn't fully release until we get into February. Early February may bring a pattern shift toward more seasonal or even above normal temperatures. But for the rest of January, expect below normal temperatures to dominate. The bottom line, this is a significant winter weather pattern. Multiple rounds of snow for the northern tier states. Sustained cold that is the coldest of the season for most areas. Dangerous wind chills for parts of the upper Midwest. This requires preparation. This requires respect. But this is not unprecedented. This is winter weather that happens. You've dealt with cold before. You've dealt with snow before. The difference here is the duration. It's not a quick shot of cold. It is a week to 10 days of persistently below normal temperatures. Plan accordingly. Stay informed over the next several days. Forecasts will be updated as systems develop and model data improves. What I've given you today is the overall pattern and the most likely scenarios based on current information. Specific snowfall totals will be refined as we get within 48 to 72 hours of each system. Check the National Weather Service website for your specific area. They issue the official warnings and advisories. Local meteorologists provide information tailored to your region. This forecast gives you the big picture. Local forecasts give you the details for your specific location. This is manageable if you prepare. Check on neighbors, protect your pipes, keep your fuel tanks topped off, have emergency supplies ready, dress appropriately when you go outside, limit time outdoors in extreme cold, watch for signs of frostbite or hypothermia, and remember, this is temporary. By the first week of February, this pattern breaks down. We'll be talking about different weather systems. This cold spell will be in the past, but while it's happening, take it seriously. Winter weather demands respect. Stay safe, stay warm. I'll keep you updated.